I don't know about the kangaroo pickpockets, but these biting flies are going to eat us alive.
Those flyboys from Norton Air Base will be easy pickings. They will be distracted by the biting flies. We should be able to make a really good haul from these suckers.
Alice Springs' history in space tracking began with the establishment of the Joint Defense Facility Pine Gap in 1966. This joint Australian-US satellite tracking station, located southwest of the town, was originally presented to the public as a space research facility. However, its primary function was to gather intelligence from satellites, initially focused on monitoring Soviet missile tests during the Cold War. Over the decades, Pine Gap expanded its capabilities to include signals intelligence, SIGINT, intercepting foreign radar signals, radio transmissions, and missile telemetry from regions like China, North Korea, and the Middle East.
Major, I simply cannot believe that the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders aren't here to meet us with cups of hot cocoa.
Lieutenant Ton, you are one smart-ass navigator. If you weren't one the best, I'd fire your ass.
1841, Captain James Clark Ross discovered McMurdo Sound and named it after Lieutenant Archibald McMurdo, who served on the HMS Terror. Early 1900s, British explorers Ernest Shackleton and Robert Falcon Scott established huts on Ross Island near McMurdo Sound as bases for their expeditions to the South Pole. Scott's Discovery Hut, built in 1902, still stands today at McMurdo Station, located on the southernmost point of Ross Island in Antarctica, has a history rooted in both exploration and scientific research. Established in 1956 during Operation Deep Freeze, it evolved from a temporary military base into the largest research station on the continent. Its strategic location in McMurdo Sound, named after Lieutenant Archibald McMurdo, facilitated its development as a vital hub for Antarctic exploration and scientific endeavors.
I have now done it. I am standing on my 7th and final continent, Antarctica. Next, I have to find a suitable place to hit some tennis balls against the solid wall, so I can rightfully claim to have hit tennis balls on all 7 continents. Eat your heart out, Roger Federer. I may have to contact the Guinness Book of Records once I get back to the States. If possible, I always try to work in some tennis, somehow, wherever my U.S. Air Force career has taken me. 58 countries, over a dozen remote islands, and now to all 7 continents. Time to slip on some tennis shoes for these combat boots, and whack a few against this cement block wall in this snow-covered Quonset hut of a building. If you are a regular viewer of this YouTube channel, then you know I'm now in the U.S. Air Force Active Reserves maintaining the same flying requirements as my fellow navigators still on active duty. My minimums are 45 flight hours a quarter, but I average around 75 to 80 hours every 3 months. The roughly 15 hours down here from Christchurch and back don't even count since I'm actually on a C-141 mission out of Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California. I just took a risk jumping on the LC-130, making a run to McMurdo Station and back within my 48-hour break in Christchurch. Yes, I'd be in trouble if I did not get back in time. But what are they going to do to me? Kick me out of the U.S. Air Force. In 4 days, I will be back in the Haskin Sells, downtown Los Angeles office at number 1 Wilshire Boulevard. I know a couple guys like myself are going to ask where have I been this past week, and I tell them Hawaii, America Samoa, Australia, New Zealand, and Antarctica. Their jaws are going to hit the floor, or they'll tell me that I'm full of you-know-what. I should get a camera and take pictures of their faces when I inform them of my 8 days of absence. What do you think? Jules Verne wrote a famous book, Around the World in 80 Days. That was considered an unbelievable accomplishment when the book was published in 1873. In 1973, I left my day job in downtown L.A. and returned 8 days later, having flown the equivalent of around the world as a U.S. Air Force Active Reservist navigator. My fellow accountants still think I was making this experience up, but I know it is absolutely true. They found it difficult to comprehend how much flying I did in such a few wonderful years from 1971 through 1976, when I finally traded my green Nomex flight suit for an Adidas warm-up to coach tennis for over 40 years. I would not trade either experience for all the tea in China. Hong Kong was the closest I ever got to that country. I will always be the Undertaker navigator.